Yeah, it's about the bag with the triple single crew. We got Ronnie, Doc, Antonio, the real deal too. They coming and dropping knowledge, you know that they get to work. You know that triple single cover Bay Area sports. You know I'm coming hard, I don't feel like I'm in a hurry. Like number 30, I really got the range like Stephen Curry. Get a couple rings, you know.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the triple single crew, TSC Bay Area, at TSC Bay Area. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you also subscribe and like the channel. Thanks for coming back, everybody. So, like we talk about TSC here, we're not just about the San Francisco side of the Bay. We're about the East Bay as well. So we're going to get into a little bit of Raiders talk. All right. And so, Ronnie, I'm expecting some hot takes from you, of course, because you are our subject matter expert here at TSC on all things Raiders. So you got it, man. And so I just want to know, so let's get into what do the Raiders need to do to compete in this loaded AFC for the next, I don't know, 10 years or so with guys like Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Burrow, list goes on and on. So I'll start with you, buddy.
Yeah. I don't think I'm the only one that believes this. The defense 100% needs to be completely better. When you think about the offense, personal opinion, top 10 offense, we can argue. Derek Carr, above average quarterback. Josh Jacobs was a really good running back. Darren Waller, top 3 tight end with Kelsey and George Kittle, 49ers. You already know what the deal is. Nelson Aguilar, who had a great year. And Henry Ruggs. Top 10 offense. Defense needs a lot more work. There's a Max Crosby. Need another pass rusher. The secondary is okay, but need a second pass rusher. We had Khalil Mack, traded him away. The defense, that's honestly all you can say in what I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Doc?
Yeah, so I'm not going to say I am a Raiders expert, but I do keep up with the Raiders. I've been keeping them up my entire life because of the fact that I've grown up in the East Bay, and having grown up in Richmond, California. Shout out to all my Richmond natives that may be watching. There were a lot of Raider fans, right? I was actually one of the few San Francisco fans growing up and in the schools that I did. Aside from like my family members who are also San Francisco fans. And so I've kept up with them, if for nothing else, to talk crap and to highlight, their deficiencies. But for this, right, the sake of this conversation, these are the 3 takes that I came up with when thinking about the Raiders and how they can compete in what, I think we all agree is definitely a loaded AFC. And so I think for me, first, it starts with them identifying and committing themselves to their key pieces. One, is Derek Carr their franchise quarterback? I know there's been a lot of conversation around that. I know with rumors, you never know what's true or what's not true, but it's safe to say that even towards the end of the season when Marcus Mariota had some run, he made a pretty nice impression there, right? And so that always just kind of leaves that door open to question, is Derek Carr the quarterback? And if he is, you need to be 100% committed to this guy, because I think when you're not, it does take a toll on a quarterback's psyche. They don't know if they make a mistake, will they get pulled? If they get a minor injury, should they sit out or should they try to rush back in? Because if they sit out too long and the backup quarterback shines, will that mess up right there? Their starting position, aka Alex Smith, right? Had that happen when Colin Kaepernick came in and he never gave it up. He never gave it up. But then you have to ask yourself, who are the next 3 guys or next 4 just key pieces that can be seen as leaders on the team and can help really build a winning team culture? Is Darren Waller a part of that? Is second-year Ruggs a part of that? Is Josh Jacob a true cornerstone? Do they have to bring in another veteran who has some experience in a winning organization? Let's say a JJ Watt, they were winning a lot more in his earlier years. Or let's say a player from a Steelers or a player from a Patriots team, right? Just a team that historically has won, that can come in and bring in that winning attitude and work ethic and hope that it rubs off on the younger players, right? And so I believe having these key pieces will help set a foundation that they can then continue to build upon. The last take I will give that I was able to come up with is they need to start hitting in the draft. I think they need to at least hit on 3 of 7 picks. If they have 7 picks, you at least need to hit on 3. I'm not saying all 3 need to be future Pro Bowlers, but you need at least 1 to maybe be a Pro Bowler, and you need at least 2 to be legit competitors for starting spots.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. And, if I had a few takes as well, I would say defense, and more defense. Those would be my takes on it. It's all about that defense. I mean, you guys already named all the stars they have on offense. I think that offense is good enough. And again, I'm a non-Raider fan, but I watch highlights. I watch highlights of all the teams because I'm just a football fan, as you guys know. So, that's what I see. I see an offense that can score 30 points, but gives up 30 or more. So to me, it's about they need somebody to help out Max Crosby. They need to get to the quarterback because they don't put enough pressure on the quarterback. And when they get there, they don't bring him down. So, they've whiffed on Cleveland Ferrell. They whiffed on Arden Key. So they need somebody else. They need somebody like you're saying, Doc. They need to hit on a first and second round pass rushing talent. And outside linebacker, it doesn't matter to me what you call it. They need somebody that can go get the quarterback. The secondary is actually not nearly as bad as it seems when they put pressure. And so you have Carl Joseph back there. I think he's solid. He's a heavy hitter. Needs to obviously watch penalties and things of that nature. But in general, he's great against the run. He's okay against the pass. You have Mullen, who's okay. So they don't have. You don't have too many holes in the back end. You can definitely add some more talent, but to me, it's about the pass rush. That pass rush, look at our secondary. 49ers secondary is nothing special really other than Sherm.
Yeah.
But when you have Bosa and you had Ford and you had all those guys going, it really, and I'm not saying they need to have a pass rush like that. I think that the Raiders need to just have more of a pass rush. It needs to exist. Because right now it's pretty much non-existent, and that kills you. And so, and it's such a good offense too. So now that Gruden and Mayock have worked on the offense, it's a pretty good and I think really good unit. Has a lot of dynamic talent. Now you got to look at the defense, and like you said, Doc, you got to hit in this draft. You got to hit on 2 out of 5, 2 out of 6. What I don't know if they have 6 picks or 7 picks. Ron, do you know?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Somewhere around there. So they got to hit on 2 of those. And so those 2 have to either be Pro Bowlers or fringe Pro Bowlers on defense. And so you do that, and you're not going to be hovering at 8-8 anymore, even in that division. Let's not forget they did beat the Chiefs this year. So it's not like they can't score with the high caliber teams like that, the high caliber offenses, but you got to defend.
Yeah.
Hey, they did beat the Chiefs, but you want to go?
Yeah, let me just quickly share, and then I'll leave you, right? You're the expert. I think the reason why I mentioned all of those offensive players and then being committed to that offense is because then you can dedicate all your draft capital to the defense. Then you can dedicate all your free agent, right, signings to top end of the line defensive players, because now your offense is set. But I still question if they believe that, because I think in the few games that I watched, yes, they scored a lot, but far too often I also saw them punt during big moments of the games and try to trust their defense, which we knew was untrustworthy. So those are some of the things that, went through my mind as I was kind of creating my takes. But yes, at the end of the day, I agree with y'all. They need to go all in on defense, but that's going to become a lot easier if they genuinely trust and believe in their offensive pieces. But I'll give it to you, Ronnie. Finish what you were going to say, bud.
Yeah, bringing up the Chiefs, they play twice a year, division rivals. They beat them the first time at Arrowhead. They scored 40, but they allowed 32. They only won by 8. The second time they played in Vegas, they were actually up with like a minute 20 to go. Obviously, that Chiefs offense is loaded with Hill and Kelsey. 120, that's enough time for them to score. And not you bring it up punts, also just field goals too against the Chargers. They went all the way down in overtime. Gruden decides to kick the field goal. Yep. Justin Herbert, brings the Chargers all the way down, runs in for the touchdown against the Dolphins in Week 16, which was a must-win game to even give themselves a chance for a playoff spot. Kick the field goal, face mask, 34 yards, Ryan Fitzpatrick. They eventually scored the touchdown. They lose, and that defense just needs some work. That offense is amazing. It's just defense is where it all starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I agree with you guys. Gruden made some really, really questionable decisions, this season. And it probably did cost him 1 or 2 wins. But in the long run, I think if that defense is good enough, you're not even put in a situation where you have to make that many decisions down the stretch. And I think, not to make his job easier, but I just think they need to focus on just improving the roster. I mean, this is just, as we know, it takes several years to really build up your roster. And for me, I look at the Raiders and I see an incomplete picture right now, because the offense looks really good. I really like the offense. But I look at the defense, and to your point though, Doc, I do agree. It's kind of weird how much people are critical of Carr. I don't think Carr is as bad as people make him out to be. He might not be as good as some people make him out to be, but I think he's solid enough to compete against pretty much everybody. I just think that you need to keep building up that defense, because if you can't keep teams consistently between 25 and 30 points, even right now in the pass happy league, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard, because you're dropping back 40 times. And like you said, Raiders don't want to do that. They can run the ball with Josh Jacobs, who reminds me of Fred Taylor. For those of you guys who don't know, Fred Taylor was this great running back for the Jags back in the late 90s. And this guy he's kind of like a pinball machine. You can't bring him down. He just bounces off of everybody, and that's what you want to do. The Raiders should be up, 7 points, 10 points, and then leaning on Jacobs to just grind out that clock. But instead of that, they're having a shootout in the fourth quarter with a good quarterback, but not a great quarterback. So, yeah, guys. I mean, like I said, we'll be watching that. Raiders picking 16th this year?
Yeah, they're like in between 10 and 20. Around the 15, 16 range.
I'm telling, again, this is not the year for pass rushers. So I don't think, Rousseau is kind of stock is, I think, like I said, I like this guy for the Niners, but I'm just going to tell you guys, Patrick Jones, the third or the second. Sometimes I forget, but Patrick Jones, the big guy out of Pitt, he's really dynamic, and he's graded right now as late first into the second. Some people have him a little lower than that, but to me, it's not a super deep pass rush draft, at least not that I've seen so far. So you got to find a way to find that guy that you really like. I don't know if it's Rousseau. The other guy on the other side from Miami, Phillips, I kind of like him a little bit, but to be honest, I haven't done a super deep dive yet on pass rushers, because we're not really in the market for one with the Niners. So, but those are my takes, Ron.
Yeah, no, those are great takes, especially for people that, don't pay attention to the Raiders as much. Obviously, you got Doc wearing a Jerry Rice jersey, you have a Niner hat, the Niner flag on the back. And I don't even got the jersey on. So, I don't got the D-Wall jersey on, but those are great takes, man, for sure.
Right on. Well, thanks again for joining us, everybody. So this is TSC. We're going to sign off. Until next time, remember, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at TSC Bay Area. Take care, everybody.
See y'all. Take care. Take care too.
Yeah, it's by the bag with the triple single crew. We got Ronnie, Doc, Antonio, the real deal too. They coming and dropping knowledge. You know that they get to